Part 1. You will hear a conversation between a woman and an insurance agent discussing a home insurance inquiry. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6. Now listen and answer questions 1 to 6.
Hello.
Could I speak with Mia Collins, please?
Speaking.
Hi, Miss Collins. This is David Green calling from Holloway Assurance regarding your recent inquiry about home insurance.
Oh, hello. Thanks for getting back to me.
No problem at all. I understand you're possibly interested in insuring a cottage located slightly outside the city. Would you mind giving me the address?
Of course. It's 23 Metrobank Lane. That's written as one word. Metrobank.
Got it. Thank you. And would you rather be contacted by email or over the phone?
Either way works. Maybe try sending me an email first. And if you need to, you can reach me by phone as well.
Perfect. And may I have your email address?
It's ck8@maple.net.
Let me confirm, did you say maple like the tree?
That's right. It's the name of the firm I work for. You've probably seen their offices around.
Yes, I believe I have. And could you give me your main phone number and the most convenient time to contact you?
Sure. It's 014-6397-7221. I'm usually not able to pick up calls while at work, but I'm available anytime after 6 p.m.
Okay, I'll note that down here. Now, I'd like to ask a few questions about the property itself so we can calculate an accurate estimate for your policy. Could you tell me the approximate size of your house?
I don't have the exact figure, but it's about 95 square meters. Would you like me to double check and get back to you later?
No need. I'll put down 95 square meters for now, and if you decide to take out a policy with us, we'll have an assessor measure it properly.
Sounds good.
And what material is the house primarily built with? For instance, is it stone, timber, or concrete?
It's mainly stone.
Excellent. That generally qualifies for a better rate as it's considered more durable than other materials.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Do you currently have any kind of home security system installed?
Well, we haven't put up a fence yet, but we do have a working security alarm that we use all the time.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Excellent. Now I'll go over some coverage options we offer, and you can let me know which ones you'd like included in your policy.
Sure.
First, the property itself. Would you like protection against accidental damage to the building structure?
Definitely.
Great. Next, the items inside your home. We usually insure belongings valued above £250. Would you like to cover them against theft and accidental damage beyond everyday use? Just so you're aware, the second option would increase your premium quite a bit.
I think I'll just cover them for theft, thanks.
No problem. Would you like any additional protection for things like fire, storm damage, or water damage?
Yes, flood coverage for sure. It rains heavily in this region, and the drainage system is honestly quite poor.
Understood. I'll just work out your quotation now. It'll only take a second. Right, your annual premium would come to £163.
That sounds fairly reasonable. I'd like to think about it for a day or two. How long would it take for the policy to become active once I sign up?
It depends on the season, but usually anywhere between 3 and 7 weeks. If you register by June 10th, you should have coverage starting by July 10th.
Okay, thank you for your help. Should I ring you back at this number once I've decided?
Yes, that would be great. And to help us locate your file quickly, I'll give you a reference code to use when you call. Ready to note it down?
Yes, go ahead.
It's PL639J.
Got it. Thanks so much.
That is the end of Part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 1. Part 2. You will hear a radio presenter giving details about a new community swimming pool opening soon. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen and answer questions 11 to 14.
Hey, if you've just tuned in to Wave FM, welcome. You're listening to Mike and Chloe in the morning, and today we're chatting about ways to keep the children entertained over the holiday break. And folks, there's something new opening up soon that's causing a real buzz. Get ready for Splash Central, an outdoor swimming spot made by, that's right, the local community. It's scheduled to open in October, and everything from the shape of the pool to the snacks at the calf has been picked by a group of 980 local volunteers. The community voted for 2 winning ideas from more than a dozen submitted by famous designer Elliot Graves, and the finished plan is truly unique. The pool is built in the shape of a giant seashell sinking into the ground, and right in the middle is a real coral aquarium. It's already grabbing attention in the Kingsbridge district. Now, you might be wondering what a place like this would cost. But relax, at just £18 for adults and £12 for children, it's an easy way to entertain the family during the warmest days. The only worry is that it could become too popular. The pool's not endless, so if too many people show up, it might get a little crowded in its opening season. There's also going to be a launch party for a select crowd. In keeping with the pool's public focus, locals voted on every detail. They picked actress Melissa Jameson to host the event, which will happen later this month, and even chose the playlist by ranking their favorite 12 songs out of hundreds. There's one small issue, though. For the entrance hall, people chose a seahorse sculpture to greet visitors, but after a recent dangerous encounter between a tourist and a venomous seahorse, organizers worry it might scare some guests.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
The clubhouse theme is set as open waters, with different rooms showing off different parts of the world, designed by well-known local artist Lana Avanti. Representing Australia at the reception will be a tiled mural made of native animals like a kangaroo, a koala, and a saltwater crocodile. In the East Lounge, you'll feel a chill from a huge wall painting of the Arctic ice fields. Just imagining the towering glaciers can cool you off on a hot day. Almost. Why not turn your pool trip into a bit of a geography lesson too? The theme for the women's lounge area representing South America isn't what most would guess. No rainforests, no carnival dancers, no Amazon River. Instead, did you know South America was the birthplace of the first handmade pottery? I didn't either. By comparison, Asia's theme for the game room is all about the future. Avanti designed an abstract artwork combining images of an ancient Silk Road caravan with a modern robot factory. It's a fascinating blend of history and technology. In the men's lounge area, The decorations feature ancient Asian castles, showcasing the strong defensive history of those regions. Finally, the dining area and cafe is a round space with one clear focus, a dramatic sculpture of a volcano. It even has glowing red lava that looks almost real. The food's good, but it might be the second best thing about this room compared to the massive 10-foot-tall sculpture. Honestly, visiting each room of the clubhouse feels like walking through a small museum. It's a great chance to give the kids something fun and educational at the same time. We'll take a quick commercial break here on Wave FM, but stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes with more about what's being called the summer's coolest hangout spot.
That is the end of Part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 2. Part 3. You will hear a conversation between two students and their instructor about a research project and seminar preparation. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen and answer questions 21 to 25.
Before we begin, Daniel and Sophie, thanks for coming in today to discuss your current research assignment. I'll also give you a few pointers for your upcoming seminar later.
That sounds good.
All right, I've gone through the opening chapter, and so far, I like the direction you've taken with your project, both of you.
Thank you. What did you think of the section where we explain the procedure?
I haven't reached that part yet. I'll move on to that and your findings and conclusions shortly.
Oh, so if you haven't seen the rest, are you just saying you like the introduction?
No, I genuinely think the structure is very well organized. Each segment is clearly labeled, and your header and footer are precisely in order, and the cover page is excellent. Quite a few students struggle with formatting.
Honestly, we followed the sample document we received during the workshop quite closely.
That's a smart move for layout and formatting, as long as you avoid copying the content itself. I did notice your background details are a little thin, though. You might want to expand on that.
You reckon? I was actually more anxious about whether we gathered sufficient results.
The data seems all right, but you definitely need to strengthen the background section. Maybe hunt down a few extra journal articles or check out some additional resources in the university library.
That's a good suggestion. We could go this afternoon. I always find it tricky navigating the online archive for this topic.
I agree. I often prefer flipping through the actual publications instead of endlessly scrolling through digital files.
Same here. Oh, and one more thing. I've included all my references in the abstract, but could you clarify if I should be compiling a reference list or adding an appendix?
No problem. I can help with that. For this kind of technical research project, you should gather all the sources you've cited throughout the paper in a reference list. Use the website I recommended last week to check the proper format for each entry.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Right? I'll sort that out. We still have a fair amount of tidying up to do.
True, but you've got a lot of solid material to work with here. Now, enough about the assignment. How's the presentation coming along?
Well, it's moving along okay. I'm going to experiment with a different presentation program while Daniel works on arranging the reference list.
Yeah, we're hoping to design an animation of a working turbine, though there's still a lot to figure out with that software.
Who would have thought before starting this topic that we'd be able to recreate the mechanism of a turbine? It's turned out to be surprisingly fascinating.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah, I'm happy I signed up for mechanical systems this semester. I'd definitely like to stick with it.
You know, there's a group called the Industrial Design Network you should consider joining. You'll need to achieve a good grade in your module to qualify, but I think you've got what it takes.
Huh, interesting. I'll check that out. I'd really like to meet professionals working in mechanical design to find out more about the industry. I don't know anyone in that sector at the moment, though.
I reckon if you keep meeting people in your classes and getting to know your lecturers, you'll eventually connect with some useful contacts.
Well said. Daniel, if you're particularly keen on mechanical turbines, make sure you stay informed on the latest technologies. Actually, you could occasionally visit the local energy plant to see what developments are happening there.
That might be a good way to pick up some hands-on experience.
Well, I doubt they'd let you operate any machinery just by visiting the plant. If you really want to get involved practically, I'd recommend applying for a placement over the summer.
Wow, you've got so many helpful tips for getting ahead. Now, if only you could tell me how to get something published.
Wouldn't that be brilliant?
Honestly, the best thing you can do is, once you've completed a thesis, present it, and do it often to different audiences. Take feedback seriously and revise your work. Sooner or later, you'll have something publishable.
This meeting has been really motivating. Thanks so much for your guidance.
That is the end of Part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 3. Part 4. You will hear a conversation between two students and their instructor about a research project and seminar preparation. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen and answer questions 31 to 40.
Today, I'm going to present an overview of the research on amber. I'll begin by giving a short introduction about amber, then explain how it forms, and finally describe its uses in different areas. First, what exactly is amber? It isn't a stone, but actually ancient, fossilized tree resin. This semi-solid organic material is produced in pockets and channels through the cells of certain plants. Now, why would a tree produce resin? Well, there are several opinions about this, but most believe it's a natural defense system. Resin helps protect the plant from infections and damage caused by insects or fungi. Amber appears in a variety of colors. Aside from the familiar shades of orange, yellow, and brown, some rare colors also exist. One of the most prized is a rare blue type of amber found in a region called Santa Cruz in the Dominican Republic. Experts believe its unique color was caused by volcanic ash present when the resin was first released from the ancient trees millions of years ago. Now, let's talk about how amber forms. The process involves molecular polymerization. When thick layers of sediment apply pressure and heat to the resin, it slowly hardens and becomes what is called copal. Over time, more heat and pressure remove certain chemicals known as terpenes, and this eventually turns the copal into amber. Copal itself is a younger, less stable form of fossilized resin that hasn't completely transformed into amber. Where is amber found? Well, It often washes up on shorelines. The world's largest source is Russia. In fact, around 90% of the global supply of amber is located in the Kaliningrad area near the Baltic Sea. Waves and ocean currents carry it from the seabed to the coast over many years. However, exposure to rain, heat, and sunlight weakens resin, meaning amber isn't always the best material for preserving fossils. One of the fascinating features of amber is that it often contains insects trapped millions of years ago. A clear, well-preserved insect inside a piece of amber increases its value considerably. One collector in the Dominican Republic claimed to have found a butterfly inside a piece of amber with wings measuring 5 inches across. An incredible discovery, considering most butterfly specimens only have a 2-inch wingspan. Insects and other inclusions are more common in Dominican amber, with about 1 for every 100 pieces, while Baltic amber contains roughly 1 in every 1,000. Now that you know the basics, let's explore how amber is used today. To begin with, it's highly valued for its appearance. Top-grade amber is made into jewelry and decorative objects. It's common to combine natural Baltic amber with silver to create beautiful necklaces and bracelets. However, because amber can degrade over time, it needs careful handling. In ancient times, people believed wearing amber could protect against illness, especially throat infections, and could even clear the mind. A well-known Roman doctor named Callistratus wrote that powdered amber mixed with honey was a remedy for problems of the throat, eyes, and ears, and that when mixed with water it could ease stomach pain. Whether or not these claims were accurate, many people believed in the healing powers of amber. Interestingly, amber has also been used in construction. One example is the altar of St. Marcus Church in Gdansk, Poland, which is made from amber. Another is the famous amber room in St. Petersburg, Russia, where the walls were decorated with detailed carvings and designs made entirely from amber. This room has been carefully restored using old photographs and is now open to visitors at the Catherine Palace in Tsarskoye Selo. And finally, another popular use of amber is that.
That is the end of Part 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 4.